All right, everybody. Welcome to the afternoon stream here. Just kind of taking a look here, seeing what we got going on. Took a trade after the stream this morning, just a short scalp. You can see we're up 137 there on the day. Just trying to get everything set up here for this afternoon. All right, the market kind of found a bottom here around 1248, 1251. Wick down and then just blasted out of it. I turned my computer on right as it was kind of bouncing off this VWAP area, and I liked the look of that trade, but I did not take it because I was thinking there could be something I'm not paying attention to. The ES made a nice bounce out of it also. Rejected off the pivot at 96, and it's kind of hanging out in that area now. Nasdaq still has quite a way to go to reach its next pivot. It's way up at the 435. So so we're up $137. So really this afternoon we're looking for maybe a nice $200 winner. I'll go ahead and adjust our take profit to reflect that. That's basically what we're looking for. Get this $200 winner and we'll be on our way. Trading back to the VWAP here, kind of tempting. You see I did mark out this bearish fair value gap from this morning. Traded right into it and kind of rejected down here. Obviously, the overall trend of the market at this point is bullish, but really like to see the ES possibly move back up to that 42.12 area by the end of the day. Possibly fill the gap all the way up to 42.17. You can see the Nasdaq filled the gap this morning. The ES did not. High a day up there is the gap. So kind of see how it broke out of this trend line from this morning that we drew and just kind of chopped around and started this nice little move up here. Yeah, I didn't pull the trigger on this. This is, like I said, I was kind of looking at this for this possible bounce off the VWAP here, but didn't take it. Definitely turning that VWAP into support here. ES is looking a little bit stronger than the Nasdaq, honestly. If it can break through this pivot at that 96 area and get above 4,200, then I think we get that move back to 42.12. Nasdaq kind of scares me because we do have the we have this bearish fair value gap here on the 3-minute chart. If we go back and look at the 15-minute chart, you can even see a bigger fair value gap here on the 15-minute chart. So a little bit of area to get through. All right, starting to get this breakout here. Maybe if we move above 50, I may look to take a long up to the 60 area. Back up to that fair value gap. ES is trying to test this 96 area again. Moving above 50 here. All right. I mean, really, I'd feel much more comfortable if the if we have taken the entry off of the VWAP. So maybe the best thing to do here might just be to wait. If we start to show some strength through 50, then maybe we'll take a long, but really need the ES to break above this 96. I think if ES breaks above this 96, this pivot, that can kind of take us on up with it. Let's see here. Had a nice little move up here today, though, in the afternoon. I turned the stream off here. You know, kind of overtraded this morning. Turned it off, and as soon as I turned the stream off, what happened? It waterfalled right through the area that I was looking for. I was looking for 75 this morning. Then I saw it bouncing off that area, so I jumped in right there for a quick $95 scalp. So that's how we're up the 137. Trying to retest this 50 area again. ES retested 96. Kind of double topping here. You don't want it to turn back down here. Really would like this just to blast right on through there. All right, starting to get this move up on both the ES. Let's see here. If we just start moving up here. ES is 97, breaking through the pivot. All right, I'm going to jump in long here. Try to see if we can get this push up to that 62 area. Risking $200 here. We actually going to move this up to the 47. Area. I want it to just go here. Want it to just kind of blast right through there if it would. That's what we're looking for. ES is moving on up, so we should go. All right, I'm going to be at break even at this point. Might get stopped, but that's okay if we do. Are kind of at the top of the range here, so. And as you'd have it, came back down and tapped me. That's all right. Again, that, you know, the entry I really wanted would be off of the VWAP there. Probably going to go ahead and go here without me, but that's all right. I mean, entry was at $52.75 on that one. Just took a little $20. Didn't want to give any money back. Did kind of reject that fair value gap again there, which was kind of some of my concern. ES made new highs there, moved up to that 97 area, then pulled back to the, or actually moved up to the 98s, and then pulled back to that pivot point again. Just not a lot of follow through in this area. Of course, with this pullback, you probably, like I said, got to get through that 4,200 level there on the ES. Thought that might take us with it, but it didn't happen. It's okay. Yeah. The NAS is trying to move up here, get through that fair value gap there. I'm going to wait. We're going to wait. There certainly will be a better setup here. Just be patient with it here. Early in the evening here. Got a lot of time left. Approaching that fair value gap now. Oh yeah, if it breaches this 4,200, I think if we breach the 4,200, we're going to have a nice move up. All right, just approach the fair value gap there at 60. Trying to move through there. It's kind of what I was looking for on that trade. I was just in maybe one candle too soon. Like I said, the ideal entry would have been down here at the 330s anyway. Pulling back again here. Kind of got a high to high trend line here that you could draw to wait for this breakout. Something like that. High to high here. Wait for it to kind of move through that. Hard rejection at that fair value gap. Hard rejection there. ES is moving back. Yeah, 4,200 was within reach there, and it just said no thank you. You can see it approached that 4,200 level there and just got slapped. It did that earlier today too. You know, right there, got to the 4,200 and just whoop, moved right back down. So back down to the pivot. Let's see if it turns that pivot kind of into support. The NQ moved back to the 20 SMA there and then kind of bounced. Got this high to high trend line here that I just put on the chart. This sometimes will kind of act as resistance. So if we break through here and clear this fair value gap, then I may consider taking a long. All right, let's see if we can get this move back up here. It's kind of bouncing off the SMAs, moving in that direction. See if it can kind of break through this trend line here. The ES is trying to move back up. It just approached 4,200 again. Trying to push through there. This might be one of those afternoons where you could just put a long on and just walk away, to be honest. This might be a slow grinder up. See what it looks like here. Kind of moving slow. Yeah, I did take a small trade earlier. If you look here, you can see the entry and the exit there. Took a little $20 scalp, trying to get the move up above this fair value gap, or at least to it. And it didn't happen, so just took a small winner there, $20, as you can see. So up 153. Just trying to get to $300. But just going to take the setup as it presents itself here. Getting a little consolidation here. Just kind of been trading in this range for the last, 30 minutes or so. The ES is back to that pivot point at 41.96.25. It's just kind of, it's trying its best, but it has not been able to break through that 4,200 level just yet. You always feel like you've missed a move when you come in, you sit down, and you see that, you had a nice liquidity grab here on this wick down, trade up, created a small gap on the 2-minute chart anyway. We're looking at 3-minute here, but pulled back into the gap and then exploded up. So that was a nice move there. Yeah, Jason, we're going to try to get the $300, but at the end of the day, green is green. So if we end up at just 150 or even down slightly, this will be a positive day. We're going to try to follow our rules this afternoon. We kind of broke a few this morning, so we don't want that to happen this afternoon. All right, back to that 20 SMA there. Really need this to kind of break out to the upside. If it's going to continue, the ES is pulling back here. Just broke back through that pivot at 96. So it just broke back through the pivot, pulling back into this 95 area. Holding the pivot area on the ES, 95, 96. Nasdaq kind of consolidating here in this range. We could go ahead and let's just do that. Let's just move our sort of trend line over here. Sort of look at it from this perspective. Just kind of looking at a breakout of this trend. So if we start to trade above this trend line here, then kind of would be our entry. Possible entry long there. Really, you'd be considering a short if we break below the VWAP. I would really need us to break below the 300 level before I would consider change my bias to bearish. Feel like we're just move up this afternoon. It's kind of the feeling I get. So we're just getting kind of some consolidation in this area. for the possible move up higher. Price action's pretty slow this afternoon here. Made that nice move up before we turned the computer on, and now it's kind of just hanging out, trying to torture us. Kind of breaking out of this trend here. Trying to anyway. Just watching the price action here. I see it breaking out of this trend. Yeah, I just kind of feel like even though this broke out of that trend line there, and just with the ES approaching that 4,200 level again, if it rejects a third time, it may snap us back here. All right, we're going to go ahead and take the long here through to 60. See if we can't get this move up into that 60 area. Only going to risk 5 handles on this particular trade, I believe. So we're going to risk $100 here for this possible move up to 60. Widen this out so you guys can see it a little better here. All right, it's not really going as quick as I wanted it to here. All right, stopped out there. I didn't really give that trade enough room. If I was going to take that trade, I should be entering here at the 41. The stop down at the 31. So it was kind of a failed breakout there. It didn't really work. I mean, if I had taken my entry, off the 43, might have could have locked in 5 handles there, but Nasdaq still just chopping around in this area. ES is hanging out at the pivot point still right there at the 41.96 area. All right, well, let's wait and look and see for the next entry here. Probably should have been looking to enter off that VWAP possibly. Yeah, see, my entry on that really, like I said, should have been right in this 42 area with my stop down at the 30, 31, 32 area. So when you don't take the entry that you're supposed to take, and then you jump in higher, you have to risk more. So that's kind of what happened there. So if we get a pullback into the VWAP area, I may take a long there. All right, ES pulling back into the 94 range. Nasdaq trying to pull back here as well into this VWAP area. Kind of creating a new swing low here on the NAS. All right, I'll go ahead and take a trade here, playing off this range. Stop is now at break even here. Starts to pull back. I may just manually cancel this just to lock in some more profits. All right, moving the stop up here to 43. Actually, let's put it at 42. That's $100. See if we can't get this full push up here. Okay. I'll go ahead and lock in $200 here. And there we are. Nice little $250 trade, and just like that, ding, 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 $309 on the day. There you go, Jason. Never a worry in the world. I just had a couple of bad entries up here. I knew better. Waited for the pullback to VWAP. As soon as it started moving back in my direction, we just played off the range. Just a nice little range trade. Nothing special about it. You can see here, traded back to VWAP here, bounced. Traded back to VWAP here, bounced. Traded back to VWAP here, bounced. Traded back here, bounced. That's all you got to do. Easy peasy. So let's watch and see what else happens. Maybe we can find another trade to take, or we may just be done for the day. But either way, let's tape read here and see if we can't learn a little bit. Definitely did some over trading today, and getting to this $300 was much tougher than it should have been. But, you know, that's why I started the YouTube channel, so that I can kind of hold myself accountable. And when I make stupid plays, you know, I can kind of call myself out on it. So, could have probably got the full 300 there, but I didn't want to be greedy. Wanted to just take the 250 and be done. Still just trading in this range here. We're probably eventually going to get this breakout, but I believe that the ES is going to have to kind of bust through this 4,200 ceiling and move up to the 4,210, 4,217 possibly by the end of the day. If the ES busts through this 4,200, then there's no way the NAS doesn't kind of revisit the highs here for today. Well, maybe not all the way up to the high, but possibly. 14,429 is going to be the high from overnight on the Nasdaq. During the session today, the high is 14,411.75. So I did not eat lunch today, and it is I'm paying for it at this point. The hunger is real over here. I almost went to go get some food before I started my stream, and I said, no, got to start the stream on time, so no food until after the stream. Let's kind of take a quick look at my trades. So I've taken a total of 14, well, it says 22, but really it's only 20 trades, which is way too many. Average trade time, 54 seconds. $1,280 in profit, $870 in losses. As you can see here, 309 after $100 in fees and commissions. Win rate, 63%. That's probably about my normal win rate, somewhere in that 60% range. Largest loser, 285. Largest winner, 300. Would like for this number to be lower, really, around 200 if possible, but average loser 145, average winner 91. So that puts us at, let's see if I can move this down or whatever. Let's see. No, it won't let me. I was trying to show you. Puts us at $51,288 on the 50K combine there. So assuming we stay at this level, we're still going to need $1,712 in profit to pass step 2. Main thing is to just remain consistent, and we know we'll get there. Over traded a bit today, so tomorrow my focus is going to be taking less trades, better quality setups, and maybe not moving my stop so quickly. Try to wait for at least $100 in profit before I move my stop to break even. Realistically, it really should be more along the lines of 200, but $100 is fine. So we did take some losers today, but we also had some winners to kind of make up for it. So still just chopping around in this area. You could actually just, you can sort of play off this zone, the top and the bottom. But you could just kind of box this out as like a no trade zone. And that's probably what I'm going to do at this point. Not going to take any trades until this thing bounces in or out of this zone. And the ES, same thing. I mean, it's just trying to stay in this area. I mean, look at all these wicks on the candles on the ES. Wick, wick, wick. I mean, just everywhere you look. Got to get through this 96 area. It's just hanging out at the 96 area. I'd imagine it's going to break through there eventually, but just has not done it yet. So right now we're just going to sit back and wait. See if we can get this to move in or out of this range. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, like the I did say like the video. Hit the like button or subscribe if you haven't already. All right, let's see what's going on here. 15-minute chart's looking very wicky here. You can see. Got to break out here eventually. I think it will. I mean, I think we're probably going to move higher, but Once that 315 macro kind of kicks in, we'll probably get an idea as to whether this thing's going to continue to move up or maybe sell back off. But my gut tells me that it's, probably going to continue higher. This is the accumulation, consolidation, manipulation zone. So they want to accumulate longs and shorts, and then mess one side up by either wick one out. You'll either have a big wick out of this area and then move in the other direction, whatever. Just try to get both sides trapped. Yes, trying to move back up and test this 4,200 level again. See if she gets through this time. Kind of seems like it may have the steam to get through this time. Let's kind of look back here. Let's see. It did purge these. I'm just looking at the NQ here. Just checking the 15-minute chart, seeing if it kind of left anything down here. It purged this liquidity here. See how it kind of faked people out here. It started to move up and then pulled back hard. Started to move back up. Wicked down. Took out basically all longs because where are you going to have your stop at? Your stop's going to be right here below this. So took out those longs and then went higher. So moving back down now. ES is kind of rejecting that pivot. Like I said, I have a feeling we may wick out of this area before moving higher. This may have kind of a fake out, move to the downside, and then just move higher because we do have this fair value gap down here that it might try to So you do have this 3-minute fair value gap down here to the low side. So you have you have a bearish one to the upside and a bullish one to the low side. So you can kind of, there could be an argument for both directions here. Let's kind of watch and see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and take my executions off the screen here just to fill it up or clean it up. There we go. All right, so it's kind of moving out of this range. Let's see if our idea plays out here. Back down to the 41.93 on the ES here. Big dump there. Not quite sure what's going on there. That's not normal price action. It's definitely not normal price action there. Tapping into that fair value gap on the 3-minute chart here on the Nasdaq. If the ES does not hold that 88 level, which was a battleground this morning, then I would expect a sell off here. But I think that we probably are going to just like I was saying, this is my idea, is we may trade back down into this zone, excuse me, before moving higher. Might be breaking through this fair value gap here. If it doesn't hold this, then we may have a market structure shift to the downside here. ES is down to the 89, 88 area. Just like I said, that was the battle zone this morning for that. We do have a pivot at 300, 14,300, so something to be aware of on the Nasdaq here. We'll just go ahead and take this from this morning and outline the pivot with it. Guess I could shorten this thing up, make it a little easier to work with there, huh? So this would be where the pivot is. So far, it's kind of respecting that fair value gap. It's not made it through it yet. Might be able to get a, if we trade through this fair value gap, we may be looking for a short here, but I kind of feel like we're just, like I said, we're going to probably just trade into this gap and move higher. Try to get some people piling in on the short side and just rip it up. ES is holding up right there at the 41.88. Traded back down to the 41.8750 and started to bounce. Now this is a market structure shift because we broke this swing low here, created a fair value gap, and now we're trading back up into it. This is where it kind of becomes difficult for me to read because we traded back into a bullish fair value gap here. So are we bouncing out of this gap? Or are we trading back up into this gap to move lower? When you got a case for both sides like that, I tend to try to stay out of it. I think it's probably the latter. I think we're trading into this gap for the move higher. That was my initial analysis anyway. So the entry, if you were going to take that trade, would have been at the 17. Stop would have been down at the 05 area. And then you would target this gap up here. So potential move back up to the 60. It'd be a nice little 40 handle trade there, potentially. Or we could just reject once we get up to the mid-level of this gap. So, for that reason, that's why we're not pressing the button here. I'm going to go ahead and take this zone off here since we traded out of it. So we can see these fair value gaps a little bit better. Could take a trade here above the VWAP for this move back up to the 20 SMA from the 30 to the 40 area. That wouldn't be unreasonable, but the problem is you're trading into that bearish fair value gap there. So looks like the ES is trying to spike back up here, maybe back to that 96 level potential. Dog hears something, not quite sure what. But he decided to bark about it. We do have a lot of liquidity. If you see all these relatively equal highs, or these two relatively equal highs over here on the Nasdaq, probably going to go and try to take out these levels. Yeah, anybody who got short here on this move down, they got their stop resting up here above these areas here. So I'd imagine this price probably, if it's not going to respect this gap, is at least going to pierce that 14,354 area. Not much to do here, though, to be honest. Like I said, you can make a case for both sides here, so just going to kind of wait, be patient. You know, this move back down could have just been running some stops as well from anyone who got long here. If you're trailing your stop, you know, you probably would have it here at this area. Top of the hour coming up here, 3 o'clock. So we got about 15 more minutes before this 315 macro kind of turns on. The ES is back at that 93 area. See if the NAS holds this VWAP area, if it starts to move back down towards that gap again. And see, this is why I didn't take any of these trades. I mean, I was thinking of getting long above the VWAP here at the 30 area maybe for this push to the SMA at the 40. But we didn't even make it. And this gap is kind of what kept me from getting in that trade. Let's go ahead and kind of mark out this gap, so you can kind of see what we're working with here. So when you have two fair value gaps here right next to each other like this, it's pretty difficult to trade. All right, trading into this gap here. Now, if we close this gap and we continue to move down, then we might change our bias to bearish. The only problem is, I mean, it's never ending here. As you can see, you really got to get below this 300 level. Got to move below here. Got to move below that 300 level before we really can change our bias to bearish there. This morning I had a similar situation, and I took the long off of this. No, I took the short. Well, it would have been reverse. So we were moving down, or we moved up. We had a big move up, and then we started moving down. Had a change of market structure, and then I took the entry long, and it just traded right through it and stopped me out for a $285 loss. So be very careful this afternoon here. Although the goal is $300, and we're there, we're not going to trade our P&L. We're going to kind of see what price offers us, and if we get an entry, we're going to take it. We will certainly take it if we get something that looks like that it's going to be a good trade. And if we lose, we lose. It's just the way it is. Let me look at the ES. We're moving back down on the ES here. Approaching the VWAP. Kind of had that fake out below the VWAP right there earlier. Tapped 87.50 and then just blasted back up to 94. I mean, if you took that, if you took a long off 88, then you got that nice move back up. It's a pretty nice little trade there. Like I said, 88 was that battle zone this morning. It really had to fight to get through this 88, 90 area. I mean, you can see how much consolidation we had right there in that zone. And then it finally broke through it. So, a lot of support there at that area. Got the MACD down here at the bottom. If you guys don't know what that is, it's just an indicator. It is looking bearish. When the yellow line crosses the orange to the downside, then that's kind of a bearish look there. I don't use it all that much. I do kind of pay attention to it occasionally, but when I'm using the different kind of strategies and stuff. But when I'm using the ICT fair value gap entries, then I don't really pay that much attention to it. ES holding up here at the 90. The Nasdaq is making a move lower. You can see we touched that 300 level and kind of bounced off of it. Want to see this candle close below this gap. That kind of invalidates this gap at that point. We do have a bit of a bigger gap there on the 15-minute chart that would not be invalidated until we pierce that 97 area. 297. So my initial assessment of this situation was that we may just continue to move back up after we hit this gap. So we did hit this gap and move back up, but then we traded right a little bit over the middle of this gap, and now we're just moving down. So you essentially could have got burned in both directions here. You could have got short here, stopped back out on the move up. Then you could have got long somewhere in here, and then stopped back out on this move down. So for me to turn my attention to the bias to the bearish side. Like I said, I want to see a nice move through the 95 area, close out that gap on the 15-minute chart, and then at that point we might be looking for a move back down into this 250 area by the end of the day. Approaching that 300 level again. And what I might do here on this next trade is potentially I might switch over to the micros, reduce my risk a bit, and see if we can't get the entry there on the micros. If you trade the normal contracts on the NQ, it's $20 a point per contract. If you trade it on the micros, I think it's $2.50 a point per contract. So I would use 2 contracts, which would be $5 a point. Reduce the risk. Let's check out the ES, see what it's got going on. Yeah, I guess I didn't really... This is technically an order block here on the ES. Traded down, traded back up into it. Fair value gap. All right, well, we're just waiting here to see what happens. Still hanging out at this 300 psych level. Might take a little bit to get through there. The dollar's kind of moving down. Dollar moving down. The ES is stuck at 91. Not really going anywhere there. All right, looks like we're going to retest this pivot on the NQ here again. Looks like the ES is trying to retest that 88 level. The ES just cannot get through that 88 level. Keeps retesting, and just not making it. All right, looks like NQ is moving through that pivot now. Need a strong move through 95 here, and we may try to take a short for this move down into this swing low here, or potentially this swing low here. Might turn this fair value gap kind of into an inverted gap. So may move down, kind of move back up to it, and then continue lower. approaching that 95 level. Would expect to possibly get a bit of a bounce here. Usually you overshoot that pivot a bit and then get a bit of a bounce back to that 1310 area. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and please subscribe. Helps the channel. We'll be posting a recap video today of my trades. May not show all trades since I took so many, but we'll show a few key ones. All right, here's this retest. Potentially retesting the 10 area here before we move lower. All right, we topped out there at 925. Okay, there's the 10. So there's the move back to 310. So now what you'd like to see is for this to turn this bullish fair value gap kind of into resistance and possibly move lower here. You may ask, where do I get why did I think it would bounce back up to the 10 level? Well, because of this swing low here. Usually price will kind of, work its way back up to this previous swing low before it faces resistance. Now it's kind of in that 10 area. $315 macro just kind of turned on here, so we should get our direction here in the next few minutes. Let's take a look at the ES, see what we got going on there. It bounced right off that VWAP. Could have made a VWAP play right there at 89. It's pretty much held the VWAP here. Held it here. Had a little pass through the VWAP there, just a little fake out, move back up. The ES looks a little, looks a little bit stronger as far as, support here than the NAS does. NAS is kind of just, moving down. ES might move back up to that pivot at 96. All right. See if this gives us an indication as to what direction it might go here. I don't know. As long as this ES continues to hold up here, hold this 88 level, I'm going to remain kind of bullish here, thinking we're going to get a bit of a move up, but we've been wrong before. Quite a bit. You can see here on the 15-minute chart, we're kind of holding this fair value gap here. So I've not yet invalidated this gap. So, you know, kind of a move up, maybe move down just for a move back up. Kind of what we're thinking there. But the ES breaks down, very well could have a nice little sell-off on the NQ as well. So ES holding up here again at the 90 area. Holding that VWAP strong. Yes, trying to bounce. Kind of getting some consolidation here on the ES. We get a break above 96. Actually, it'd probably have to be somewhere up here. Probably would need a break above 4,200, honestly, for the ES to be show interest before I would be able to kind of look at the ES for a trade there. All right, Nasdaq trying to push back up here. You can see it's kind of trending down. You got a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Trying to wait around here to see if we get another move, but it is pretty sluggish at this point. Don't know that anything else is going to happen. Kind of entering a bearish fair value gap on the 5-minute chart for the NQ. Looks like everything's kind of lining up for possible breakout here. $15-minute chart still looks bullish to me on the NQ. Guess Max wanted to say hello. Trying to push here. Trying to push. I do kind of like how we're holding up in this area. We're not, you know, we're turning that 300 level into pretty strong support there. As quick as I say that, it's turning back down to test it once more. As we approach 3:30 here, about 4 minutes away. The ES pulled back to the 90. At the, I think that's where the VWAP. No, I didn't quite get to the VWAP there. Where's the VWAPs down here? Oh yeah, it is at the 90. 89.50. And it pulled back to the 91. Yeah, they're supposed to be voting on the debt ceiling today, I think. Someone mentioned that it might be 1 or 2 p.m., but it's 3:30. They haven't voted on it yet, so I guess just something to be aware of. They may not do anything until then. So Stewart says, get ready for the 345 pullback into close. Could be. Could be a pullback there. This looks bullish to me, though, Stewart. I don't know. One thing's for sure. It's going to go one way or the other. There are only, well, I guess there's 3 options. Up, down, sideways. But typically you're going to get one of those 2 or 3. Right now we just kind of been sideways here for the last, I don't know, 30 minutes. All right, ES just hanging out at the 93.50, not really doing much here. It's either got to break the 88 or break 96 and get above 4,200 here at the end of the day. Possibly close at 4,210 or not really do anything. Trying to push up here, trying to push up from this one gap to the other. If we get a move above 14,340, then we may consider taking a long. That would clear out that gap. We'd be above the SMA and the VWAP. So that's a potential entry there, but really got to get the ES going as well. If the ES isn't going, then it's going to be tough to take a long there on the NAS. Let's flip over to the ES, just kind of take a look. Looks like it's hanging out at the 93, 50, 94 area. It's really got to puncture through these relatively equal highs here and get above this 4,200 level strong. Made it back to the SMA there, kind of rejected it at 330. This is tough price action to watch. I think I'm going to give it maybe 5-10 more minutes. Don't really want to be entering a trade after 345. Just going to be, there's too much volatility there. I'd like for us to get a move before then. Not to say you can't trade the last 15 minutes of the day. You can certainly catch moves, but you're going to have wider stops and be willing to take some drawdown. So let's give it a few more minutes, see what happens at 335, see if we get any volatility there. Approaching the 20 SMA again here on the Nasdaq, trying to push through there. Like I said, we did hold that bullish fair value gap on the 15-minute chart on the NQ here. Traded right to the middle of it, and now we're pushing up. So if we break that swing high there and close out this gap, then we may potentially take a long. So break this swing high, close out this gap, and we could possibly take a swing long up to the, or take us a long up to the 60 level. So maybe lock in another 10 handles right here before the end of the day. Let's see. Or there's always the other potential to lose 10 handles, right? Hey, quiet. Oh. Here we go. Max wants to make his appearance on the stream. Say hey to him, Max. Say hello. I am Max. I will bark at you. Earth. No. All right, we got the move above VWAP there on the NQ. Got that push above VWAP. Now we're rejecting the VWAP. Got to get this pushed through here. Possibly at 335. You get some volatility at 335, but the main volatility is at 350, 355. Do have a bit of a volume imbalance here. Kind of hard to see, but there's a gap between the top of this candle's body, and the bottom of that candle's body. So a bit of a volume imbalance there. I think you might could see it a little better on the 2-minute chart here. Let's take a look at it. Can you? Difficult to see either way, I guess. All right. Well, we're above the VWAP. Let's see what the ES is approaching the pivot. Well, it's at the pivot at 96. That's Max playing with his toy. If you're wondering what that noise was. Well, trying to decide which one we want to take a trade on. The ES is looking a little stronger, but I really want to see it pierce this 4,200 level before I would be interested in a trade there. Maybe ride it up to the 4,210. What I may do here, if I do enter a trade, I may move my stop to break even fairly quickly, and kind of just let it go. If that's an option. Dollar's just stair-stepping down here. ES trying to make it through this pivot here. It's at 96. I might jump in a little sooner than I said I would. Switching over to the micros here. Kind of watching this here. All right, we're going to take a long here on the micros. Just going to target put one there. Well, that's not a good look. Might stop us out pretty quickly here. Looked like we were getting the breakout. The ES moved up to the 98, 97 level. See if we can hold this level here. Moving my stop down a little bit here. This just completely got rejected. All right, I'm just going to take it off there for a small loser. $44. I don't like how that got rejected there. Huh. Well, that trade didn't work out there. Interesting. That's the reason I switched over to the micros. And that would be the kick in the pants there. Now it's moving right back up. All right, let's wait for it to close that gap like we kind of said we were going to do. Obviously didn't have my stop wide enough there. ES really's got to move through that 4,200 level strong here. ES is at 96, 75, 97 area. Thing is, I manually stopped myself out there and actually would have not hit my stop. But sometimes that happens. We're approaching that 3:45 time there. Need the ES to break through that 4,200 level strong here. All right, it's approaching it. $41.99 at this moment. Gotta go. If it's gonna go. All right, there we know. There it goes. Broke through the 4200s. Seeing if it kind of holds it here. All right, I'm going to take a long here. And I cannot see, interesting, can't see my break-even line. There we go. Now we're at break-even. Looking for the 54 area here if we can get it. Going to go ahead and lock in a little bit of profit here. Locking in $80 there, 90. Trying to get this push on up. Locking in 100 or 95. See if we can get this push on up. All right, stopped out there. That's okay. So got $120 there on that quick little move up, quick little pop, that trade that we were looking for at the end of the day here. I was really looking for the 60 area, but I just trailed it up real tight. Didn't want to let it kind of come back on me at all. Quite sure it's going to pierce this 60 area. So we gave a little bit back there on the micros, and then I just switched back over to the regular, switched back over to the minis, and got it back there. So we're up $377 on the day. I know I took this stuff off, but man, like, let's see, let's just click on show all. There we go. Still going, like I said. I mean, I probably left a little bit on the table there, but, and there we go. We got some kind of funky price action there. That's the reason why I trail my stop so tight, though, especially here in the afternoon. You just never know. So, anyways, up $377. I don't think I'm going to take any more trades here in the afternoon. I mean, we could potentially put on a micro for this move up to the 60s. Risk 77. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know that, yeah. I don't know that I'll be taking any more trades or not this afternoon. Let's just give it a minute and see. Watch this algorithm. All right, I think I'm probably going to put on a couple of micros here for this 350 algorithm. I kind of think it might take out this 60 area. So we may risk Yeah, may risk a little bit here just to see if we can get this move up. Let's see here. See if we can get a quick pop at this 350 algorithm and maybe take out this liquidity up here at the 60s. So I may just put on, I'm just going to put on one. And we will risk, like $25 on this little play here. See what happens here at the 350, 10 seconds. Kind of think it's just going to pump up through here. Whoop. And there we go. It pumped and then dumped. We risked $20 there, so. So I think that's going to probably do it for me for today. I'm up $355. Just kind of put that one on right there thinking we would at least take that liquidity out, and we didn't. So I'll be live tomorrow, 9:25-ish. If you guys haven't already, like the video, subscribe, and we will see you then. Thanks.